Oh, this is going to be a long one. I want to start off with stating, yes, this is titled, I talk about feminism. Now, my first point is, yes, I am white and I am male. No, this is not illegal. And I'm sick of feminist groups treating me like I'm some kind of terrorist. Basically, because I am white and male, this suddenly renders my opinion to be moot and worthless and instantly judged. And it amuses me in the sense that feminism is supposedly about equality, but they're just as quick to judge me on my gender and race. And that doesn't shout equality to me. Now, I say it's about equality. This covers one of the reasons why I don't think feminists has made the leaps and bounds that people would normally have expected. Because I posted a statement recently questioning why, if feminism is about equality, why is it not called personism? And I posted this on Tumblr, and it got reblogged a shit ton of times. I thought, oh, people were all wondering the same thing, but no, it turns out the reason people were reblogging it is because someone had answered that question. And they had stated that saying it was about equality was a gross simplification, and continued. They then went on to insult me for stating my opinion because I'm white and male, and they finished up by saying they did not want to be equal to men because men had the power to oppress. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but assuming men do have this power, this magical power, and we can oppress everyone, surely being equal to them will completely eliminate that power. It would make you equal. Isn't that kind of the point? Isn't that what feminism is all about? I made another post, this was much further back, and I got so much hatred for this. But what I did was I made a post about all the stuff that men have to deal with that women don't so much have to deal with, or at least don't have to deal with in the same way. And this covered some very tender subjects, and some not so tender subjects, such as in an office. Okay, there's a couple of co-workers in an office, a male and a female. If the guy slaps the woman on the ass, she can report him for sexual harassment. He'll probably lose his job and get fined and be asked to attend some kind of seminar, etc., etc. If the woman slaps the guy on the ass, he just has to sort of suck it up and accept it as a compliment and move on. Because if you report it, he's instantly accused of being gay or laughed at, something like that. And so the whole piece went on from the male perspective, how we have to deal with certain situations, certain scenarios. This was then taken dramatically out of context by a bunch of feminists. By out of context, what I mean is, one of the points, for example, I made was about rape. Warning now, if you're sensitive on the subject, you might want to turn it off. The point I made was, when a man gets raped, 9 times out of 10 he doesn't even know he can report it as a crime. He doesn't know it's illegal. But if he does report it, he just gets laughed at, what have you. So if raped, he has to just suck it up and get on with his life. This particular feminist then took that statement and said, "You're telling women if they get raped, they just have to suck it up." And she went and did this for all my points, but obviously, of course, that wasn't my point at all. My point was, men shouldn't have to just suck it up like that. They should have it seen to in the same way a woman would. If they report it to the police, it should get dealt with and what have you. Should be made more aware that men can in fact be raped by women. It happens. But no, this, along with pretty much every one of the points I'd made in this statement, she then took out of context and completely twisted, as I said, to state that I was being an asshole, basically. The one about the workers in the office, what I'd put down is, surely for it to be equal then, if a woman gets slapped on the ass, she should have to suck it up and accept it as a compliment. Because that's what men have to do. And I then got an anonymous message telling me that if you think women should accept that as a compliment, there is something seriously wrong with you and you should go and die. No, that's not what I think at all, in any even slight way.
what I think is that that's how men are taught to deal with it, and they shouldn't have to deal with it like that. We should be allowed to deal with it the same as a woman can. That was my whole point throughout all of this. My whole point for the whole piece was feminists claim they want equality for women. And that would mean that in that scenario, that's how they would have to deal with it. I, however, want equality for women and men. So in scenarios like that, men should be able to deal with it in the same way a woman would. And I found it quite painful, to be fair, reading through these person's comments or taking my stuff out of context and saying these things, kept constantly calling me sexist and saying that I was blaming women for all of my problems and this, that and the other. And she even brought my mother into it and then laughed at me when I told her how my mother had actually disowned me. And this isn't the image I think feminists need. A little bit later, still conversing with this particular feminist, I got more anonymous messages telling me they hoped I get raped and things like that, which kind of unravels like everything feminism supposedly stands for. But yeah, that's what I meant by out of context. Completely seem to have missed my point. My point was this is how men are treated, and if you want equality, surely equality should go both ways. And that would be fantastic. Someone recently actually called me a feminist. They said, and given the context that they had, that was quite complimentary. It meant a lot to me. But I'm not. I'm not a feminist at all. I'm an equalist. I'm an equalist. Because as far as I can tell, a lot of feminist problems are that feminists can't agree on what feminism is. That says I've had this one woman ranting on that feminism isn't about equality, and I've had more women ranting on that feminism is about equality. And this just renders me mixed up and confused. And then there's people... yeah, I've got long hair. There's people claiming to be feminists like Kelly Martin Broderick, I believe that's her name. Her picture was recently taken off the internet and re-uploaded by a Facebook page called No Hope for the Human Race with the caption, "This is what she was holding a sign saying this is what a feminist looks like, and underneath they added the caption, pretty much what I expected." The fact is, stereotypes exist everywhere, like literally everywhere. Canada's stereotyped for all being nice. Have you ever seen a hockey match? Germans are stereotyped for not having a sense of humour. I recently questioned a German as to why their accent sounds so angry, and their mother burst out laughing at me. Clearly they have a sense of humour, but the stereotype still remains. And not everyone in England has bad teeth and drinks tea constantly. Just like not everyone in America is fat and stupid, and not everyone in Australia has a barbecue and had the dingoes steal their babies, or whatever. The fact is, stereotypes remain everywhere, and after this post was taken, I've probably put a picture up by now so you see what I'm talking about, she then went on this massive rampage about how insulting this was to her and things like that, and I'm thinking, surely if you're putting up a picture saying this is what feminism looks like, and then you act and look like the stereotype, it's not actually insulting, it's just a fact. She also went on to say how they had been fat shaming her and what have you, but the post said nothing at all about her weight. Nothing. And that she also said some guy had done this, that and the other, and again, this picture was uploaded by a woman. So, you know, if you're going to generalise, expect to be generalised, I guess. But it's people like her that put a bad name on feminism. A magazine called Cosmopolitan took up her article and they posted it themselves, and they went nuts. They said something about calling the person that uploaded it an asswipe, and again they went on with the fat shaming thing, which was nowhere. They'd made this up. and promptly went to post another 3 pictures or so of women holding up signs saying this is what feminism looks like, and again most of them fit the stereotype. So it doesn't really help the case. I mean, the stereotypes aren't always a bad thing. For example, like I said, the Canadian stereotype is everyone is nice. The Australian stereotype is everyone is laid back. The fact is, stereotypes are not always a bad thing. And the stereotype for a feminist isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you conceive it to be a bad thing and you make out that it's a bad thing, then it becomes a bad thing. It's like back in school how kids used to call everyone gay. Being gay is not a bad thing. There is nothing wrong with being gay. In fact, most of my friends are gay. You're either gay or bi. I'm pretty sure some of you are pansexual as well, but we'll get onto that another time. The fact is, there's nowhere does it say that fitting the feminist stereotype is a bad thing, and this woman fit the stereotype, someone pointed this out, and she got all pissed off about it. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why she had a problem with that. Surely if I fit the stereotype for being English, for example, I wouldn't consider that a bad thing. I am proud to be English, and most of you don't know that. I am very proud to be English, that's the thing. But if someone says, oh, you look like you're English or something, then I'm like, yeah, yay, job well done, I'm doing good. It confuses the hell out of me. So yeah, like I said, I've been called a feminist. I believe in equality. I genuinely believe 100% that male and female sexes should be treated equally. I believe that all the sexes should be treated equally. I'll say that again, but we'll get on that another time. Non-binary genders and stuff. But that's just how the world is. The world's stereotypes, and if you can't accept that, then you're just going to make yourself look even worse, which she has done. Because this Cosmopolitan article got over 900 or something comments on it. And I believe I read through them all, I'll be honest, and there was maybe 3, perhaps 4 that were on the same side. Everyone else was just saying, oh, they didn't say anything about fat shaming, and they didn't actually insult you, they didn't really say anything negative, and don't know what the fuss is about. So, but yeah, it's people like that, as I've said, that put feminism in a bad light. The idea behind feminism, the equality and what have you, is fantastic. It's a myth, but it's a fantastic thing to aim for. Another instance that happened to me personally was after I got made redundant from my job. I got told I was made redundant because they couldn't afford to pay me anymore, and a few weeks later they'd hired a woman to replace me. Now, my first thinking was, well, maybe they can afford to hire someone now and they just didn't think I was still looking for work or something like that. But I brought this up whilst I was talking to one of these feminists, one of the ones that give the whole image a bad name, and she responded with, well, clearly she was just more qualified than you. It's like, well, no, actually, she wasn't. This woman dropped out of school, she didn't have any qualifications. But I would like to just point out there's one particular feminist. I'm not using her as a standpoint for all feminists or anything like that. I'm just using this one as an example of a complete bitch, to be perfectly honest. She also accused me of being fat-phobic because I took a dislike to one fat person who had crushed me against a wall and not so much as apologised. Another interesting concept I came across was this, the idea of, apparently, if a man gets hired over a woman to do a job, that's sexist. If a woman gets hired to do a job over a man, that's still sexist towards a woman because clearly she's only been hired for the boobs. As a white male, I find it hard to understand the world at the moment when it comes to equality and feminism, because if I find a woman sexually attractive, I'm objectifying this woman. I'm being sexist. If I don't find her sexually attractive, though, I'm being shallow and superficial, and still sexist. And so, as you know, as a white man, I can't win, and that's what I'm going to ask you guys to post in the comments today. I want you to post in the comments what you believe is considered equal. What do you think feminism actually stands for? You know, what should happen in the world that doesn't already happen? Let me know what you guys think, because that would be fantastic. Anyway, in other news, my business proposal got accepted. I am now on a mentoring course in order to start up my own business, which is fantastic because that means I'll finally have a job, and better yet, I'll be the boss, so I won't be firing me. So that's the thing. I also, as for the channel, I intend to change that up a little bit. I'm going to buy a game called Spelunky. I don't know if some of you guys may have seen it, some of you haven't seen it. It looks really fun. The show format's going to be the same as The Binding of Isaac. It's basically randomly generated rooms each time, kill monsters, get items, you know, etc. And then if you die, you start again, like Binding of Isaac. So I figured I'd replace the Binding of Isaac series with the Spelunky series, and we'll just go from there. I think it would be nice to have a bit of variety, you know, because you guys must be sick of seeing this Binding of Isaac, because I don't seem to make any progress or anything. Anyway, so yeah, that's how the channel's going. I'm going to start up that new series, and yeah. Well, final note, then I guess I'll do a trick. Way. And I'm back. I have a deck of cards. Now, the biggest problem I have with card tricks is 90% of them start off with pick a card, but you guys can't because you're over there. So I'm going to just cut through the deck a few times, and then I'll randomly stop, and that's how we'll pick a card for this. There we go. Got the 7 of diamonds. Now, what I'm going to do with the 7 diamonds, I've just stuck it on the top there, don't be confused. We'll just give that a mix into the deck. And another bit of a shuffle there. And a bit more. There we go. Square them up a little bit. Now, the idea of most card tricks is magically finding someone's card. It's like, ooh, poof, there it is. No, it's not. And so that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to magically find the 7 of diamonds. Are you ready for this? Bam! And it's jumped to the top. Okay. Okay. Let me try that again. Bam! There we go. 7 of diamonds. Now, the reason it does that, if we just stick that back in about there is good. And again, quick shuffle. The reason it does that is because the heat of my hand when I first touched that card has remained with it, and it is drawn back to my hand magically through the whole deck and all the way back to the top, like that. Now, I'm going to do this really slowly, make this easy for you guys. So I'll give it a bend right in the middle like that. A little bit more, and then slide that in. That's about halfway. Just like that. All's fair. I'm not even going to shuffle it now, do any dodgy movements or anything like that. But you can still see where it's gone in because of the bow in the card. Or anything like that. I'm just going to click, watch. Just like that. Jumps back to the top. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!